Drivers, start your engines.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for race number 10 of the season here at Bermuda Super Speedway for the Almond Joy Series. We're getting ready to go Super Speedway racing here, and we got a very interesting front row. A couple of drivers that have kind of been on the short end of the stick this season as far as luck is concerned. Colin Denton on the pole, Brooke Allen on the outside of the front row, and Brooke Allen, I think, came into this race, I believe, dead last in the points. So definitely looking for some redemption here today. And what do we say about super speedways? They always seem to cater to the underdog or the driver struggling in points, and there you go. Love this view here, this kind of flyby camera, but we will switch over to our TV1 camera, which is right there. And we're getting ready to go racing. Turn 3 into turn 4 they head. It'll be 20 laps of racing here at the Bermuda Triangle. I apologize for the fact that, actually that's turns 3 and 4. We actually have 5 and 6 coming up. That's why it's called the Bermuda Triangle Super Speedway. But I apologize for the fact there's no starting grid, all that stuff that there normally is. If you didn't tune in to the Hershey's Cup Series knockout qualifying session here from Bermuda, it pretty much all explained everything of why that's the case, why we don't have the NNSCRA banner and all that anymore. But we have entered 2003. I've got a voice. You've got eyeballs. Let's get ready to race. Pace car peels off. And we are about to go racing here in the Bermuda Triangle Super Speedway. Denton, Brooke Allen bring us down. Flagman has the flag in his hand. It's waving. We are green flag racing at Bermuda. And hooray for beautiful frames. Whoa, look at this, Brooke Allen. Timed the start beautifully and gets around on the high side, so she'll take the lead. And look at the dust that was kicked up there from the drivers coming off of pit road there for that full pace lap. Nick Johnson going to look to the inside line, trying to take the position away from Colin Denton, move him to second, and he will succeed in doing so. Nick Johnson, who went to victory lane last week at the Tula Road course in Russia, is, yikes, Richard Johnson almost thought about 3 wide with Davey Johnson, and Colin Denton gets it back to double wide, and he will take the 4th position from Davey Johnson regardless, but man. And Johnson once more thought about the move on Denton, not going to be able to do it, at least not this time. Brooke Allen still showing the way. Got a good battle going on back here. Well, we got a battle actually a little closer up to the front of the field. Richard Johnson again to the bottom. He's making some quick strides towards the front. He'll now move by Colin Denton, take the 3rd spot. Denton wanted to tuck back in line in 4th, but Angel Navarro says nothing doing. He blocks up that inside line. He's going to try and take 4th, and Richard Johnson's going to go for the 2nd position now underneath of Nick Johnson. So you got Richard Johnson, Nick Johnson, not too far back Davey Johnson's. It's racing at the Johnsons, I guess. But all of it's going on behind Brooke Allen, who may not want to look in the rearview mirror, because here comes a hard-charging Richard Johnson. Thought about taking the lead there into 1, can't do it this time. And I just looked at the scoring monitor, and we have a car already a lap down. And that is the 28 of Jay Jefferson. And I don't know if, yeah, Jefferson's on pit road. I don't know what's up with him. It looked like all 40 cars were good to go when they rolled off for the start of this race, but maybe some mechanical issues at the start for the number 28 Winfield Toyota. As Richard Johnson, not to be denied, he will put his Chevy Camaro out in front, and he's leading the way here at Bermuda. Here comes Connor Breton down on the inside line, 3 wide to take the 2nd spot from Brooke Allen and Angel Navarro. Somehow, someway, he made it stick. Oh, and I believe maybe Jefferson came off pit road. Yes, he did. He is coming out just in front of the leaders. Hopefully he's going to be able to get himself out of the way. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, look out. Everyone's going to have to tiptoe their way by. They were 4 wide for a brief moment, making their way by Jefferson, who has merged now back with the pack, but he is multiple laps down, at least 2 that I know of. We'll see what it is officially when he crosses the line, but up front is Richard Johnson. Richard Johnson, though, is about to have company in the form of Connor Breton. 5 laps completed of 20. These drivers may or may not have to pit. They probably are going to be able to make the full 20 laps on 1 tank of fuel, so it's basically get all you can get in this 20-lap dash. Well, it's not really even a dash. I mean, this is a 6-turn racetrack. It does take them a bit of time to get around. In the draft for Cup Series, they were actually running about 46, 47 second lap time. So you figure that in with 20 laps, we're talking roughly about, well, if I could actually do the math in my head here, and I'm not doing a very good job of it, be about 1.5 minutes per 2 laps, which would mean 15 minutes. Wow, I just mathed. Yay. Top 3 have broken away. Brooke Allen's gotten by Connor Breton now for second, but Brooke Allen wants to get back to the front. She started on the outside of the front row. She was out in front until Richard Johnson bypassed her, but now she wants to get back to the top position. Take a look at a couple of other drivers we haven't talked about. Look who's running in 5th. That is Mitchell Carter in the 52. Now looking for the 4th position under Nick Johnson. Gonna force his way underneath the 42 machine, and will try taking that spot. Right behind him, there's Grayson Acavito in the Hellman's number 5 Chevrolet, trying to fight his way up. Right now scored in 7th place. And we talked about Brooke Allen, the struggling season she's having. How about Chris Dollerton now up there in the top 10? He just took the 7th position away from Angel Navarro, and right now Chris Dollerton looking very, very strong in that 43 car. These guys, though, they got to stop racing or hope these guys up here get racing with each other, because the 3 cars at the front have broken away from everybody else. It's about maybe 7/10, 8/10 of a second back to 4th place. And then that group there has kind of got themselves a little bit of distance back from the tail end of this pack, Angel Navarro, to the head of the 2nd pack, right now being led by Seth Cole, Maurice Studemeyer Jr., and this race's pole sitter, Colin Denton. They're about to catch that first group, though. They're slowly reeling them in. However, not a whole lot of progress being made on reeling in the top 3, who right now seem pretty content to just ride one behind the other. Now, all 3 of these drivers, Johnson, Allen, and Breton, have not found victory lane yet this season. So you gotta wonder when we get close to crunch time, like 5 laps to go or so, these drivers probably not going to be as keen to help each other. They're going to be battling to try and get their first win of the season, and maybe put themselves in position to be in this season's Almond Joy Series 12 car race for the chase for the championship. Richard Johnson, though, getting valuable bonus points. I think at this point he has led the most laps. Brooke Allen led about 3, and Richard Johnson's led the remainder at this point in time. Oh, look at this. Chris Dollerton, all by his lonesome, was able to get by up to the top 5 position of 4th. Then you got the lap car of Jay Jefferson, and then Nick Johnson, and Paul Minnick has now moved his way up into 6th. And like I predicted, yeah, that first group was gobbled up by the second group, and now we're starting to see them all form up. Now, I don't necessarily know if these guys all fall back into that second group, if they can all catch up to these top 3, because these top 3 are single file. The others are running double wide. However, it's almost looking like Chris Dollerton may have latched onto the slipstream of Connor Breton. He may draft up here, make it a 4-man fight, well, actually a 3-man, 1-woman fight for the race lead. Yeah, he is slowly reeling in the top 3. You can see right there, Connor Breton has kind of fallen off the back bumper of Brooke Allen's bumper. That means that the 43 is reeling him in, decreasing his speed by being in his draft. And here comes Dollerton. He's going to look for the third position off of Breton heading down here into one of the 6 turns. I don't know which one this is. That's turn 5 into turn 6 and coming to the front straightaway. He'll clear for the spot. Dollarton, the lone Ford Mustang, and a sea of 3 Chevy Camaros. All 4 of these drivers have yet to go to victory lane. The highest running driver that's been to victory lane this season is running in 8th, and that's last week's winner, Nick Johnson. DJ Curtis. Talk about drivers working their way up. DJ is now up into the 7th position. Solid run for the 33, who had a pretty decent outing as well last week at Tula. Has been running consistently in the point standings as well, but still looking for his first trip to victory lane this season in the Almond Joy Series. Seth Cole right there in the 99. Jonathan Zorlin in the 62, and Ben Watson. We haven't really seen Benny Watson be anywhere up towards the front since his win at Bristol Dirt. But now he's fighting his way up almost into the top 10. He's battling right now, I believe that's for the 11th position with Nick Johnson. Let's jump back up to the front, see if anything is developing amongst the top 4, and indeed it is. We've got a battle for the lead. Chris Dollarton moves by Richard Johnson, and he'll take the race lead. Now, if these 4 continue to battle, that may allow that second group to reel them in. But time is starting to run out as well. Next time by at the line, which they are fast approaching, it will be 8 laps to go. Dollarton, Johnson, Allen, and Breton trying to settle it out amongst themselves. But 5th on back, they want to get into the fray as well. The last time by, the gap between 4th place Connor Breton and the 5th place car leading that second pack of DJ Curtis was about 1.7 seconds. We'll see if that gap cuts down. As you see a battle on for second between Brooke Allen and Richard Johnson, that could aid the case of that second group. They're still side by side for second place. The longer they stay like that, the worse their draft is going to be. And it's going to allow that second group to reel them in. And now, Richard Johnson tucks in line. Let's see what the gap is. It was 1.7 seconds. This time, it grows to 1.9 seconds. So there must be quite a bit of battling going from 5th on back as well, which is allowing their forward progress to be somewhat hindered, regardless of the fact there's battling going on here up in the top 4. Richard Johnson back to the inside on Brooke Allen. These 2 were fighting for the lead quite a while ago, but now they find themselves battling for second behind the Ford of Chris Dollarton. Whoa, somebody down there went close to the yellow line. I think that might have been Jordan Lopez in the 51. He hung on to her, though, and keeps his position, but almost got forced down beneath that yellow line, it looked like. He thinks about maybe 3 wide there, along with James Qualls. They're running behind Grayson Acevedo. Right now it's DJ Curtis, Mitchell Carter, Seth Cole heading this second group, trying to catch up, but now last time by lost even more ground, lost another half second, now about maybe 2.4 seconds back behind the top 4, who now have gotten themselves into kind of 2-car tandems. Chris Dollarton and Richard Johnson have broken away in 1st and 2nd, Connor Breton and Brooke Allen there in 3rd and 4th, and now even more of a chance of that second group maybe being able to make up some ground and reel them in. But this time by, it is 5 laps to go. Chris Dollarton going to be doing a lot of mirror driving in these last 5 laps. But that time by, boy, every time I think there's an opportunity for that second group to reel them in, they lose ground. They are now 2.5 seconds out of the top 4 positions. The top 4 are separated by about 8 tenths. So it's still too early to say, but I think right there in your shot, well, in the shot you had before, right there in that shot, I think those are the 4 that are going to settle this thing out. Question is, though, if the 93 of Richard Johnson steps out, is Brooke Allen or Connor Breton going to be going with him? This is a super speedway. Draft is very important. We've run 17 laps. We'll complete 17 laps under green flag conditions. We will have 3 laps to go when they hit the stripe. There's that question mark as well about fuel. Were they able to make it the full 20-lap distance before the green flag dropped? Dollarton continues to show the way. Now the top 3 are nose to tail. Breton just a few car lengths back, waiting to see if something will happen. Good battle going on back there for 5th. DJ Curtis has it. John Andrews has now reeled him in. Where did Andrews come from? He's now up into the top 10, up to 6th, now looking for 5th, as we have 3 laps remaining in this race. I really want to look back into this battle that's going on here at the head of this second group. However, I don't really want to miss if we have a battle for the race lead up front. Andrews is in 5th, Curtis is in 6th, Acabito 7th, Cole back to 8th, 9th James Qualls, and Benny Watson completes the top 10 as they run right now. All 40 cars still running, but the 39 of them are on the lead lap. The only one a lap down that I know of, and that is indeed the case, is Jay Jefferson, 2 laps down. Some kind of mechanical issue forcing him to pit road early. He lost a couple of laps, and with no caution has not been able to gain those laps back. 2 laps to go. Chris Dollarton, better look behind him because Richard Johnson has Brooke Allen in tow. If Johnson wants to make a move, Brooke Allen may go with him, and Dollarton would have nobody to help him to stop the advances of the 93. When do they make the move, though, is the question. Richard Johnson and Brooke Allen, near the beginning of this race, were battling tooth and nail to get to the front. Now they may have to align themselves in order to get to the front. Chris Dollarton going to do all he can to keep them in his rear view mirror. Coming out of the final corner, the white flag will be displayed. 1 more try for Richard Johnson and Brooke Allen. 6 more corners for Chris Dollarton. And I just heard another engine just up ahead. Don't know how far up ahead. That is Nick Gunther, who is apparently somewhat off the pace, but it doesn't look like he's going to be in any way affecting the outcome of this race. Nick Gunther, who's been running well in the points, looks like he's going to finish the day out in 41st position. Not a great run for him. As through turns 3 and 4, we've got 1 straightaway, 2 more corners. Can Richard Johnson close up the gap on Chris Dollarton? Through into turn 5. Not close enough to make a move. Tries to get the run through 6, but he's not going to get there. Chris Dollarton, sweet redemption for a miserable season. His first win of the season comes here tonight at Bermuda Superspeedway. Chris Dollarton running way down in the point standings. I believe he is 39th in points. I would have to look back and make sure, but I think that's where he is. He's down in the basement, there's no doubt about that. But regardless, this may be the first step towards him getting to the chase. Keep in mind, though, we're going to have to keep tabs on Dollarton for the remainder of the season into the second half of the regular season towards the chase for the championship, because in order for this win tonight to count towards a chase spot, Chris Dollarton's finishes need to pick up a little bit more. He's got to make his way into the top 30 in the point standings for that win to count towards a chase spot. So Dollarton, this is the first step, a trip to victory lane, but now the finishes have to be a lot better and a lot more consistently in the top 10, top 15 to pick him up spots in the point standings. So the standings should be official. Couple of drivers who really needed good runs. Dollarton is one, Brooke Allen the other. Way down at the bottom of the point standings as well. Gets a 3rd place run. I believe Connor Breton actually also in that same boat. He gets 5th. Richard Johnson led a number of laps today. I don't know if he led the most. It's going to be close between him and Dollarton, but he was out in front for a good portion of the first half of this race. He'll get second. John Andrews will finish top 5 as well in the 4th spot. DJ Curtis, another top 10 for him in 6th. James Qualls, a good run for him in 7th. Benny Watson in 8th. Amore Studemeyer Jr. in 9th. Nice job for him. And Cody Hagan will complete the top 10. As you look on down through the top 15, it'll be Grayson Acavito, Jordan Lopez, Nick Johnson, Mitchell Carter, and Jonathan Zorlin. And then our pole sitter Colin Denton will finish 16th. Carmichael Jazin, Paul Minnick, Seth Cole, and Angel Navarro complete your top 20. As we look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, number of drivers who apparently had lost the draft: Joseph Romero, Zachariah Hall, a couple of former winners this season, down in 36th and 37th. Jesse Turner, 38th. Nick Gunther, all the way back in 39th, had lost the draft, finished last car on the lead lap. And Jay Jefferson, some early issues here, caught him 2 laps down, and with it running caution-free here tonight, no chance for him to gain up that ground back. So he finishes 2 laps down in the 40th position. So that is going to do it here from Bermuda for the Almond Joy Series. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be showing you what the point standings look like heading into next week's race. So, without further ado, here come your point standings for the Almond Joy Series after race number 10. Alright, so here we go. We're about to process the 10th race of the season at Bermuda. Chris Dollerton, your race winner, and apparently this is going to go to my portable drive. Not supposed to. Gotta go to the exports in the game. There we go. And let's see what we have for Chris Dollerton. Let's see where that win maybe placed him in the point standings as well. I'm going to just delete this, that way it doesn't make problems. There we go. Generate the files. Let's see what we've got. Do we have maybe a new points leader as well? No, we do not. Eric Hayden keeps the points lead, but only 1 point over James Qualls, who jumps up to 2nd. Paul Minnick will still be in 3rd. He's only 4 points out. Richard Johnson jumps 7 spots to 4th, 5 points out. And then Benny Watson back up to 5th. He's only 8 points out. And look at how close it is here in the top 10. Ryan George dropped 2 spots to 6th, but he's only 9 points out. Mitchell Carter dropped a spot. DJ Curtis jumped up 2 to 7th and 8th. They are 10 points out. Nick Johnson, he dropped 2 spots down to 9th, but he's only 11 points back from the points lead. And Nick Gunther, despite the 39th place finish, he dropped 8 spots to 10th, but he is still only 17 points out of the points lead. Look at these drivers that jumped up here. Grayson Acavito, Amore Studemeyer Jr. and Jordan Lopez. Looks like the driver that jumped up the highest, though, was John Andrews. Jumped up to 19th, picked up 9 spots during the course of that race. The driver that lost the most, looks like, was Nick Gunther. He dropped from 2nd down to 10th. And look at Chris Dollerton. He jumped 8 spots up into the top 30. So, Chris Dollerton, right now, if we were to end the season, he would make the chase because he is inside the top 30 in the point standings. But those good finishes have to keep on coming. Look at Joseph Romero. He's also a former winner this season at Infineon, and he's down to 38th in the point standings with his 1 win. It's not good if he's going to make the chase. And how about, we talked about Brooke Allen needing a good run, jumped 4 spots up to 36th place. So looks like she's her fortunes are on the rise right now as well. But that is going to do it here. That's your point standings heading into next week. I have no idea where we're going next week. We weren't actually even supposed to go to Bermuda this race weekend, but we did anyway. So it'll be a surprise. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning into this race. Congratulations to Chris Dollerton on the win. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finishing results. We're showing you your point standings right now. And we will see you guys next time as you've been watching Productive Answer Rate, offline racing at its best. Coming up next, the Hershey's Cup Series race from Bermuda. You'll see that very soon. I'm Seth Cole, saying see you later.